Hey guys, I am so happy to see you today. It's Tuesday, March 24th with Speakeasy with Jase. And boy, has the world changed in a month. Crazy how much this has changed. I was just thinking about it the other day. By the way, what's in it for you on today's call? I think there is a hidden danger to society that's coming up with. Boy, that was timing, huh? Holy cow. Probably a delivery guy, just a mailman. My dog thought the hidden danger to society was the mailman. Scared the bejesus out of me. So that wasn't it. I'm having a gun safety expert come on because Napa. Thank you. I got to tell you guys, I feel really good having a dog right now. Things could get wonky and weird. So, gun safety. We're going to talk about that. And then a woman who I do a lot of work with, actually, I have a session with her this afternoon. She does like emotional and energy work. She's going to come on to do a meditation with you guys. So, welcome to Speakeasy. I'm so glad you guys are here. I have a question for you to start off the show. Whoever you are, this question specifically, really the target is business owners, and I want to know for everybody, what do you need right now? And don't say toilet paper. I mean, in the context of business, whether or not I provide it, what do you need right now? And what are the resources you need? And how can we serve you? How can we make a difference for you? What support can we give to you? So let me know what support we can give to you. What do you need right now? And please put in the comments. Also, please like and share the stream. We want to reach people and share with them some love, some light, and some hope today. Lisa Kavanaugh, you already shared the stream. Thank you so much. You rock. So the other thing is I have this new tech that's going out to multiple places at once. And so I need to check the different streams to see who's on there so we can give shout outs. So you'll see me clicking around, and it's just because I can't always see who's in what place. So who we have watching? Amy, you're watching. Good to see you, Amy. Lisa, thank you for tuning in and watching. Why can't I see these other names? So you guys, please like and share. Andy is about to come on, and we're going to be sharing some really critical stuff. Who is that? Donna Loader just joined. Hey, Donna, good to see you. Amy says emotional direction. That's an interesting thing that you mentioned that, Amy. Something that God's been laying on my heart a lot about how I can help people in this time is I used to be doing pretty much only personal growth for 16 years. I had a personal growth company, and I've been thinking lately, it might be a really good idea, and it would be very helpful for people if I did more personal growth to help just keep them centered emotionally, physically, mentally, and going for it. I know that I have had ups and downs for sure. I got to tell you guys too. Yesterday, I've been wanting to stay home, and I just felt like I needed a weapon. And so I went to the gun store yesterday, and I got a concealed carry gun so I could have, I don't know if I should be saying all this stuff publicly, but I am. Actually, let me bring on Andy, and then I'll tell this story. Everybody, please welcome to the show a dear friend of mine. This is a woman. The first real estate deal I ever did, I got from this woman, and I thought that she was the super experienced person who had done just thousands of deals. And Andy, you're on, by the way. And I did a deal with her, and I found out later this was her first deal ever. And we have been friends now that was probably around 99. So 21 years now. Her and her husband are awesome, and I just absolutely adore her. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Andy Tolbert. Andy, everybody. If you can hear besties in the background applauding. What's that, Andy?
How are you doing?
Awesome. So let me give some more background on who Andy is and why she's a good person for you guys to know. Andy is a big-time marketer. She helped me get into some of the first personal growth seminar I ever went to. Her and her husband had gone to it before me, and they told me how amazing it was. They're like, we ate fire, we walked on broken glass, we broke boards. No, we didn't walk on broken glass. They ate fire, they broke boards, they were hypnotized, and now they make more money. I was like, you guys are nuts. And then I wound up going, and I had such a good time too. And I just threw myself into personal growth. She's a big-time internet marketer. We're working on a new book. Andy, if we have time, it'd be cool to tell them about that book we're going to do together. Andy has been in my black belt program. We've done multiple real estate deals. She helped my mom sell a house. Just her and her husband, one Thanksgiving, came over, and my mom's driveway was all cracked cement. So her husband and I chipped it out with, I don't know what we used to flatten out my mom's driveway, just awesome human beings that you guys want to know. So here's what I have. Andy, by the way, Andy, do you want to say hi? How are you doing with everything? How are you? What's happening?
I'm doing fine for now. We'll see come April 1st how many of my tenants pay, and then we'll have to kind of gauge from there. But the truth is, I don't get worked up about stuff I don't have any control over.
Mm-hmm.
I had a call from an investor the other day that said, well, what if my tenants don't pay April 1st? I said, don't get worked up about something that may not even happen.
Yep.
You're stressing for no reason. Wait till April 1st, and if it happens, then we'll address it at that point. But
yeah, totally. Here's what I think too is right, wrong, whatever. I think that what's going to happen is if people don't pay, the government's going to step in and it's not going to be like before. I have nothing to base this on other than opinion and just looking at the market. You can't evict that many people and have the economy not collapse and have just, hey, is Tim doing something with your mic? Because I'm hearing stuff in the background.
No. So if I plug can you hear me okay? Like this?
Yeah, it's okay.
If I plug the mic in, then I can't hear you because the new iPhones only have the one port.
Oh, crap.
So we're gonna have to come up with a solution before the next round, but I can't hear you if I plug the mic in.
Maybe I'm getting feedback from me talking then. So, I like your demo stuff you have there. Yes. So anyway, I think, and also I was listening to on a podcast yesterday that people credit, they're going to have a hard time making bills. So they may do some stuff around protecting people's credit, because if you have just a huge swath of the population just get shelled with their credit because they can't pay stuff because of what's going on in society, then it's going to be really, really, really hard for the economy as a whole to come back later. So I think there's going to be a lot of protections in place for the average person. Let me do some shout outs. Erica Tkachik joined. Good to see Erica. We have Matt Castell joined, Melissa Danielson, Doris, Kevin Wood, Telly Pena, Shalini, Elizabeth Ferraro. Good to see all you guys. Welcome to the stream. Please like and share. So Andy is an awesome business owner. Her and her husband own a company where they do mortgages for people and real estate. They're also real estate investors. They're very successful. They ran a real estate club in Orlando. And she does something that I'm super passionate about. She teaches realtors how to be, man, that background noise is annoying. She teaches realtors. Is there like another computer on in your space or something, Andy?
I'll turn off the air and see if that does it. I'll try turning off the AC, see if that's it.
Right.
Nothing. I'm upstairs in the studio.
Maybe just a laptop or something. If it keeps giving this background noise, we could set up a laptop in front of you.
Okay. Did that stop?
Huh?
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's better. So, well, it's me. I'm hearing me coming in. So when I talk, there's like a slight echo is what it is. Are you on the Facebook stream? Are you guys hearing that echo as well? Are you guys getting some of that echo or no? Let me know, please. So here's why I brought Andy on, though. She has a thing now called Fem Defense and Safer Agent and Strong Defenses. And she teaches realtors and women how to stay safe, and basically people in general how to stay safe. And so here's why I thought of Andy, and I wanted to bring her on the show today. Like I just reached out to her yesterday. And it's because I went into a gun shop. Andy, I was telling people I bought a concealed weapon. Should I not have mentioned that, or is that okay? Okay, cool. So I was buying a concealed weapon, something I could carry like all the time because you just don't know, right? So I'm in this gun shop and I'm watching people come in the shop, and there's only one guy in there before me, and he's obviously buying his first weapon ever. Like, I don't think this guy has even shot a gun ever. And I'm just kind of looking at him and his body language and how secure he seems or not with a weapon. And then I get my stuff, and then within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, there's 20 people in this place. So while they're running my background check to sell me the weapon, I go outside because I don't want to be in there with all that corona. But I'm listening to the gun owner talk to people before I left, and after everybody else left, I went back in. He said they've been doing so much business, and just like selling out. And between him and someone else I read, 80% of new gun owners are new. 80% of people who are buying guns right now are new gun owners. And that means they don't know what they're doing by and large. That means they probably don't know the 4 fundamental laws of gun safety. And it got me thinking about you guys at home. And while I know Speakeasy with Jase is really about sales, marketing, mindset, I want to help you and keep you safe. And so here's my question for you. If you found a gun laying around, would you know how to unload it? If you found a rifle laying around, would you know what to do with it? Would you know how to keep yourself and your kids safe? I remember I had a roommate who had a semi-automatic, and I was like, I found it one day and I was like looking at it and I could not figure out how to unload it or to like put it away safely. And I was like, crap. And so that made me realize, like, this was 20 years ago. So that made me realize people today probably don't know. So I invited Andy on. One, you need to know her. She's going to be great. Guys, if stuff goes wonky societally, she's got some great trainings. And then two, I invited her to come on, and you can see she has some stuff in front of her to show us kind of like what's going on. So Andy, what'd you bring and what are you going to share with us today?
We have a Smith & Wesson J-frame revolver. It is a 5-shot, which means it holds 5 in the cylinder. By the way, I have no live ammunition in this room at all. I'm not even wearing my normal concealed right now. Everything that we're using here is dummy training ammunition. That's one of the main rules for running a firearms classroom. If there's no ammo in the classroom, then there's no chance of any oopses. So I've got a revolver here.
Yeah, Andy, I want to land that because people might not have caught it. I was going to demo some stuff too, but I figured I'll just let you do it all. But when you're, if you're not like at a range or someplace you can shoot, if you're practicing using a weapon, loading, unloading, you literally put all the live ammo in a different row. So what Andy's teaching you guys is we want to keep people safe. And if you'll follow the 4 fundamental rules, nobody will ever get shot unintentionally. And so don't practice with live ammo, loading and unloading and all that. Put everything in a different room so you could be safe.
You can buy these on Amazon. Your local gun store probably has them. They're called either dummy rounds or snap caps, S-N-A-P, snap caps. Now, you do need to make sure you're getting the right size to fit the gun that you're going to be working with. So this is 9mm here. This is 38 special here. And for when we actually do our classes, if you can see here, I've got all kinds of stuff. I've got 380, I've got 12 gauge shotgun, I've got 45, I've even got some little teeny tiny 22 here. So we have all types of different snap caps and dummy rounds that we use in our training classes.
Those are all plastic snap caps, all fake for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, what they typically are is just it might be a real casing, but it has a dummy primer and a dummy actual bullet on it. It's just plastic.
Awesome. Okay, cough.
I might need a cough drop.
Guys, if you're watching, also please like and share. Show let people at home know what's available on here too, and then we'll also be sharing about this book. All right, so keep going. So show us what you got and what are you going to teach us?
So this is the revolver, Smith & Wesson. It's this is called a double action revolver. This over here is a semi-automatic, like you alluded to. These are, and I've got a little bit different. This isn't what I normally carry in it, but isn't this cool? It's a see-through magazine. We use it for training purposes. So we're going to demonstrate that. Tim just ran to get me a cough drop, but so I can't really turn the camera. Do you see these two over here, or do I need to move them?
Let me see. No, I can't see them, but you can just bring them in as you use them.
Okay. Basically what I have is just 2 different styles of shotgun over here. I have a pump and I have a semi-automatic. We're going to go over both types of those.
Oh, awesome.
And I hid the big scary one for last. I have AR-15. This is actually manufactured right here in Central Florida in Apopka by my friends over at Spike's Tactical. We have a couple of their products. They make an excellent product.
That's a nice weapon. I like that flashlight.
Oh, hey, can I coach you?
Absolutely.
I don't like calling it a weapon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it on its own is just a chunk of plastic and metal. What I like to teach is your mind is your weapon. Everything else is a tool.
Ooh, I like that.
If you are ever in a situation, you could have a pepper spray in your hand, you could have a knife in your hand, you could have a fully loaded Glock in your hand. But if your mind never says it's time to use it, nothing's going to happen. However, I could have nothing on me, and if my mind says it's time to fight back, I'm going to start looking for improvised tools that I could use. So for example, maybe a pen or a pencil. I love these big metal cups that everybody carries. Trust me, this will be my defensive tool if I ever need to, because it's pretty much always in my hand.
Nice. Your defensive tool. I like that. Okay.
So a weapon is a big scary thing that kills people. And the truth is, this is the only thing that's a weapon up here.
Got it. Cool.
Cool.
So let's show people how to be safe, because that's one of the main things I want to land for people is less self-defense right now and more how do we keep people safe? How do we make sure that people are taken care of if they happen to come across a firearm?
Well, for starters, the NRA actually has a program called the Eddie Eagle program. So if any of you have small children around, I want you just go Google Eddie Eagle video and show it to the kids. What that's about is basically teaching a cartoon. Eddie Eagle is a cartoon character who teaches gun safety to kids. And basically what they teach you at that stage is if you find a firearm, and they have two different scenarios unless they've changed the video. One is they're poking around in grandma's attic and they find one, and the other is I think they find one like thrown under the bushes next to the sidewalk. Basically, if you find a firearm, it's a little ditty, like a song to try to remember, because kids remember motions and song and stuff. So if you find a firearm, stop. They changed it, so I don't know if I'm doing the old one or the new one. Don't touch, run away, tell an adult, or tell a grown-up. They changed the wording on it a little bit. So stop, don't touch, run away, tell a grown-up.
Nice. I like that.
That's a really good safety rule for anybody of any age if you're not familiar with firearms. There's nothing that says you have to pick it up and touch it. There's nothing that says you have to check if it's unloaded or not. You know, maybe just secure the scene until somebody else with more experience can get there. You don't have to touch it. And that's, when we went through our CERT training, Tim and I are both trained through the Community Emergency Response Team. And one of our instructors, who's a firefighter paramedic, his little ditty was, if it's wet, sticky, and not yours, stay out of it. Meaning if you're on a scene and there's blood, vomit, or something, if it's wet, sticky, and not yours, just stay out of it. Don't touch it. You don't need to get quite that involved, possibly.
Good advice.
Don't touch is always the first secret.
Cool.
But like I said, if you do have kids around, that's a very good Eddie Eagle video. It's short. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, but it's memorable. You can also order coloring books from the NRA. If you have a local Friends of the NRA chapter, they probably have some on hand. They can even get to you. So cool. Very, very important if you've got, you know what? Here's what I hear parents say. I don't need to talk to my kids about it because we don't have a gun in the house.
This is the reason I had you on the show. So many people are buying guns today that I think people are just going to lay them around, or people aren't going to have them secured in a safe. I went and bought another safe yesterday to make sure that my gun would be in a safe at all times, that I'm not holding it in my hand.
Yeah. But what we forget is just because even if you don't have a firearm in your house, do your kids ever go to a friend's house, ever go to a neighbor's house?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
We have a niece, and she told us that at one of her friend's house, there's a gun in the closet, and they were all looking at it. And I said, that's not okay. You need to, because I taught her the Eddie Eagle dance, and that's when she told me about that. I said, that's not okay. Tell your mom so she can handle it.
Good. The Eddie Eagle dance. That's awesome. So what's the 4 fundamental laws of gun safety? What are the 4 fundamental rules?
You're putting them up on the screen, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to put them up right now as we go.
Okay. I don't put them, tell me what order you're putting them up in, and then we'll discuss each one. So which one are you putting up first?
1, treat all guns as if they are loaded.
Okay. So that's
I don't know if this is in the
not
right order, but we'll do it right whatever order I have.
At you, because that's worded a little differently. The way the NRA, all 3 of the main rules can be worded two ways. So the other way, how did you say it?
This is treat all guns as if they're loaded.
Okay. So the opposite of that, well, not opposite, but the equal to that would be keep it unloaded until you're ready to use it. Each of those has pros and cons to the way it's worded. One, if this gun was just sitting there, do you know if it's loaded or not?
Mm-mm.
So we're going to treat it as if it is. Just kind of like right now with the COVID, treat absolutely everybody you meet that both you and them could be infected, and that's a good way to keep your distancing.
Well, also, if you take that semi-auto, is by the way, is that an actual weapon? It's so pretty in beige.
This is a Glock 43, and up until a couple days ago, this was the one I carried on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a 43X the other day, and it's pretty, and it's purple.
Drop the magazine out for me, but keep the slide locked.
Okay.
So right now, would you guys know if that weapon is empty? Well, the magazine's out, so the natural inclination would be to think, well, of course it's empty. The magazine's out, except what could be happening there, Andy?
There could be one up in the chamber. Here, I'll sneak set it up and I'll show you.
Yeah, so there's no magazine in it, so theoretically it's unlocked. And so what people will come by, they'll pick up a weapon gun like this, and they'll think, oh, well, of course it's unloaded. There's no magazine in it. Actually, one could be what's called in the chamber. So, see, a bullet just came out. So that bullet was in there. So that gun could have still fired that bullet, even though it appeared to be unloaded. And that's a big mistake a lot of newer people don't know, is that one gets left in the chamber. So, yeah, so take us through how to unload, how to treat these and how to unload. Well, let's finish the 4 of 1. So treat all guns as if they're loaded. You guys, if you always treat a gun like it's loaded and then combine it with number 2, people don't get shot. Number 2 is never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. Never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. So for me, what that means is, don't ever, the muzzle is like the part where the bullet comes out. Don't ever point it at anything that you don't want to, like, don't ever put your finger over it. Don't joking around ever point it at a friend. Don't point it at your pet. Don't point it at anything that you're not willing to shoot. Not that you're going to shoot it, but if you just pretend the laser's coming out of it and that laser could destroy everything it goes over, you're going to be really careful where you point it. And if you're careful where you point it, nobody ever gets shot. And you notice Andy's not even like putting it over her own shoulder, like at herself, because she's practicing it at all times. So beyond that, she doesn't actually have, what do you have behind there? Cinder block? Behind your backdrop?
No, we're upstairs, so we're frame up here.
The frame. So, I mean, she's okay shooting the wall, but, you know, so you guys get my point. So keep going, Andy.
The one you just said is never point at something you're not willing to destroy. The other way, that one you'll hear said is keep it in a safe direction until ready to shoot. So the challenge with that is it sounds really easy on the surface, but you've got to talk about what is a safe direction. So I'll go back to my plastic ones here. Is this a safe direction?
Depends on what's upstairs.
Depends on what's upstairs. If I was in an apartment and I had my neighbor's kitchen was up there, they may not think so. The other thing is if you're outdoors, it's also not a safe direction because what goes up must come down. And every year they have a few people killed around New Year's because of people shooting in the air. Because when the bullet falls down, it's just as fast as coming out of the gun. How about down at the ground? Is that safe?
Depends on the angle and all that. Oh, yeah.
Depends on the flooring too. If you're on concrete or terrazzo, it could actually ricochet off. If you're on grass or dirt, it's going to just bury into the dirt. So that might be the safest direction. And that's the thing you got to think of is sometimes there is no safe direction. So what is the safest direction? So for example,
yeah, exactly.
in the middle of a shopping mall with people 360 degrees around me, up might be the safest direction in that instance because down, most shopping malls are a concrete or terrazzo floor, so it's probably going to ricochet around. So we just have to think about what is the safest direction given the situation we're in right now.
Cool. Awesome. So number 3 so let's recap. Treat all guns as if they're always loaded. Never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target. So you don't walk. If you watch movies, by the way, once you hear this stuff, you start watching movies, you'll realize how untrained all these people are and how horrible their discipline is with a gun. Like they'll be carrying the gun around with their finger on the trigger. That's a good way to have a shot go off you didn't mean to have go off.
Yeah. Well, you know, Tim and I have actually done some consulting on some different movie and film sets.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, funny because we're there and we're so careful, and like if somebody's holding it wrong in take 1, we'll fix it before take 2. But the problem is when it gets to the editors, they weren't necessarily there while we were correcting things, and they may just go, oh, take 1 looks cool, let's use that one. So what makes it to the final cut isn't the right one because the editors don't know.
Yeah.
They need to hire one with the editors, I guess, is really the problem. But
Yeah.
so I when I see mistakes on movies now because I understand how it works on set.
Right, I cringe too. So, but I get it, but I still cringe. So, treat guns if they're loaded. Never let the muzzle cover anything you don't want to destroy. You're not willing to destroy, not want, but not willing to destroy. And then keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target. And then be sure of your target and what lies beyond it.
I want to go back to finger really quick. An easy way to remember it: keep the booger picker off the bang button. I know it sounds funny, but when I say it that way, people remember it.
I love it.
What I want
Let me create a banner for that one.
What I want you to think about is keeping the finger high on the side of the slide, high index. Because is it super obvious to everybody around that my finger's not on the trigger?
Yes.
Exactly. Even if you were behind, still pretty obvious.
It's like Grand Central around here. Sorry. Thank you. By the way, you guys, side note, that's why they say a dog is the #1 home security device. And I really believe it because why is she opening the door? She shouldn't be opening the door. Don't open the door for anybody. 6 feet, please. So, Betsy, everything good? Thanks. So, because dogs will bark like crazy, and bad guys get nervous from dogs, and dogs will just attack without thinking. I think, guys, get a dog. Anyway, so keep going.
Adopt, don't shop.
I've heard that some shelters, totally off topic now, are encouraging people who are staying at home to take a shelter dog with them, which is genius. I don't know if it's true, but it's genius. Okay, so go ahead. So keep the boot. What'd you say?
My dogs are keeping us and all my Facebook friends amused through this.
Oh my gosh, right? Yeah. So keep the booger picker off the bang button. That's always good advice.
Some people
we should put that up at University of Florida more to keep the booger picker out of the gator.
Some people will put their finger in front of the trigger guard like this to rest it. The problem is from behind, what does it look like I'm doing?
Yeah, it looks like you're on the thing. Plus, if your finger slips.
Well, and that's the next thing I was going to say. When we're in a fight or flight situation, we actually have a grip reflex where our hands go into a fist, and whatever one hand does, the other hand wants to do too. Our body likes to be equal. So what would happen is in this case, it might slip off just from the tension and onto the trigger. So this takes practice. With our new shooters, this is something we see a lot. We see that finger start creeping down because this is a natural position. Think of how over your lifetime, how many times have you sprayed Windex or oven cleaner or maybe even, hairspray or something that you're using. Yeah. So this is a normal motion. This is not. We don't walk around the house with our finger out like that. We walk around the house with either a closed fist or we've sprayed a bottle. This is not a normal motion for us. So especially with new shooters, we see that finger creep down a lot. So that's what you really want to pay attention as a new shooter. Keep that finger nice and high.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And then the fourth one you said, know your target and what's beyond it. What I want you to think about is in your own home, Like if you were laying in bed and somebody kicked in your master bedroom door and came into your bedroom and you fired a shot at them and it either went through them or it missed them, what's behind them? If it's your kid's bedroom over there, that's probably a really bad thing. If it's your neighbor's kitchen in an apartment, that might be a bad thing. So you might even need to move around the way your bed is situated in your room to change where the angle would be.
Say more about that.
Do what?
Say more about that, please.
Well, everybody's house is going to be kind of different. But what you need to think about is, you know, where are your kids most likely going to be? Where are other people, innocent people, most likely going to be? Every bullet that leaves your gun, you're responsible for. So you really need to know where it could go. We also, when we're in, I didn't know we were going to talk about fight or flight, but when we get into the fight or flight response, you know, remember back to the gazelle and the lions in the plains of Africa. One of the things that we tend to get is tunnel vision, because we're so paying attention to the bad guy that's in front of us, which, by the way, bad guy can also be bad girl. We're equal opportunity here. But you end up getting tunnel vision. So imagine that I'm sitting here with my gun on a bad guy trying to keep him holding still. I've completely missed that maybe bad guy has friends because I'm not paying attention around me. But I've also completely missed the little kid on his bicycle that might be about to ride right in front of my muzzle. So we've really got to pay attention to what could be around us, our target, what could be behind them.
Yeah. And this is why you guys, some people say, you know, don't get a weapon or a gun until you're trained, because like Andy mentioned, if you're in your home and the kids, interior walls are typically studs and then drywall, and a bullet can easily go through an interior wall. So you have a rifle of a certain sort and you shoot, oh my gosh, just too easy for it to pass through a different bedroom or even out of your house into the neighbor's house. So I think the best of all options is, if you're going to have one, get trained. I never shot anything until my friend AJ got me a membership to a place called the Front Sight, and I went out there for multiple 2 and 4 day courses to learn how to handle a weapon and be responsible. And you know, I have a safe, I put it in, I do my best. And you know, how many classes are out there nowadays? I don't know, but I have a feeling that, well, Andy, I think you're going to be doing some virtual trainings, aren't you, on safety as well? And I want to show these guys some guns. Before we do that, I want to go to comments. What else we have? Hey, look to the gun. That's quite a comment right there, Facebook user. But other people that joined, Amy's in, Rebecca Albrecht, Trey Richard, Tonio Garcia. Good to see you. Betsy is here. She's off screen monitoring the thread as well. Good to see all of you guys. Lisa Cavender, Mayfield, good to see you. Downloader is popping in and out. Good to see all of you guys. Great. So Andy, so keep going. So let me recap those 4 real quick though. So number 1, treat gun, all guns as if they were loaded. Never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target. Or another way to put it, keep the booger picker off the bang button. Oh, and just so you guys know, the reason I said they need to talk about the booger pickers at University of Florida, I went to Florida State and Andy went to Florida. And in Florida, that's a big rivalry. So we like to tease each other. I'm sure that I will be paying for this when I'm a guest on her show. And then be sure of your target and what lies beyond it, but also what could come between you and your target as well. You got to be responsible. Cool. All right, so let's keep going. What you got?
Cool. So you talked about the muzzle.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, especially when people buy the little teeny tiny guns, especially guys that have larger hands when they buy the little teeny tiny firearms like this.
Yes.
It's very easy for you to accidentally put a hand in front of it and not even realize it. We see this a lot in class, and that's why we always start in the classroom with the dummy ammunition before we ever go out onto live fire, because they don't even realize they're doing it. While they're trying to load or something, they end up putting their hand over the front like this. And that's obviously not a
No, I want
really
to point
good thing
something
to
out.
do.
Andy's demoing with what's called what do you guys call those? Red gun?
Well, they're usually called blue guns. Most of the training guns are blue.
Okay, so she's demoing putting her hand over the muzzle
We
with
have
a
we have
plastic
orange
gun.
and blue. Did you notice that?
What?
We have orange and blue. Did you notice that?
That's the colors views you, Florida. Ugh. So, so the reason I'm pointing this out, if she had an actual gun in her hand, she wouldn't demo that. She's using a plastic gun, a totally fake gun. Can you show them the front of that gun, Andy? Not the real one, the other one. Like, there's no, like, it's not even remotely a gun. It's just a piece of plastic. So she'll demo with that, but she will keep her integrity of gun safety, and she wouldn't be willing to demo that with a real gun because it violates those fundamental laws. If you never violate the fundamental laws, nobody ever gets shot. And by the way, Andy, gun training is where I got really better as a speaker because I started noticing there's fundamental laws of gun training, and if you follow those laws and practices, you'll be very effective and safe. And then there's fundamental laws of speaking. If you follow those fundamental laws, you'll be very effective and safe. Cool. All right, so keep going.
Okay. So just be careful with the little ones because you tend to get in front of the muzzle and not even realize it. So with a revolver, can you see what I'm doing down here?
Yes.
Okay. So a revolver has this revolving part, the cylinder. Most firearms, you either push this little button forward, down, backwards. It depends on the manufacturer. This one, we push it forward and pop out the cylinder like that. Now, the proper way to hold it, you know the Texas hook'em horns like this?
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is take these two fingers and put them through the opening. See what I did?
Mm-hmm.
What I've just done is I'm right in the center of the weight. So it doesn't matter if it's a short gun like this or a big old 9-inch barrel Dirty Harry revolver, you're right in the center of the weight. So I've got complete control over the firearm. Then what you do is you pop your little, by the way, this is not a rapid process.
Actually, Eddie, I want to show them how to unload.
That's fine. I'm doing both here. I got to get it first. And then pop it in. So I now have 5 rounds in there.
And just for everybody who came in late to the show, Andy, we had a bunch of people join late. Becky Jurgensen joined. We have a bunch of people who joined. Actually, we just doubled in viewers. She's using fake ammunition right now. Real, some of her guns, they're real, some are fake, but these are fake, called snap caps. Will, good to see you. Will just joined. Becky joined. I'm not able to see everybody who joined, but we just had a bunch of people join. Good to see you guys. All right, so keep going.
Okay. So I don't know if it's going to zoom in. If you look right here in this little space, you can actually see the little heads of the cartridges. So you kind of can tell if it's loaded. Now, to unload is the exact opposite. You're just going to push that, pop it out, put your fingers back in the same way. See this little button right here, right where your thumb is already resting? See that little rod?
Yes.
All you do is tilt the firearm slightly down and push that rod, and they fall out.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, normally those would be empties by the time you're finished shooting.
Well, we don't know because we're talking about people just finding random weapons left around, which, you know, or at a friend's house. So can you load one back in there, Andy, and then do that again?
Okay.
Anit says, tell me something about how to fight in sim term. I'm not sure what you mean sim term, Anit, but today's show, though, Anit, is in America. And just for those of you who came in late, I was at a gun store yesterday buying some guns, and through that and talking to the guy there and watching. Oh, I didn't tell you, Andy, hold on. I got to tell the story real quick. So the first guy that was in there when I went buying what looked like his first gun ever, another guy came in with his teenage daughters, and he's looking at rifles. And I can't tell if this guy ever held a rifle or if it's been like 25 years since he held a rifle. So it just got me thinking a lot of people are buying weapons for the first time or the first time in a long time. And you or your kids may be at someone's house and find weapons just laying around. Are you able to unload it or safely handle it? And that's what we're talking about. So Andy's demoing some of those right now. Also, some Janelle Capsey, good to see you. Janelle just joined too. Hi, Janelle. So go ahead, Andy.
So I want you to notice in all this where my finger has not once ever gone.
Never
Anywhere.
in front.
Anywhere on the trigger. Guns don't just go off by themselves. They have to have ammo in them, and somebody needs to press the trigger. So if I'm keeping my finger out of there, it doesn't matter if it has ammo in it or not. So this ejector button basically just has a little pusher that pushes those empty ones out.
And how do you open the cylinder again? Can you show them one more time?
It's going to be different depending on the manufacturer. On this one, you push the button forward. Some you push down, some you pull back. So you push, it's hard to do kind of upside down here. Push forward and pop the cylinder out.
Cool.
That's the latch.
Awesome. So we got about 15, 17 more minutes before we have Liz come on to do a meditation. So let's move on to the Glock.
Okay. So this is a Glock 43. This is a semi-automatic firearm. Let me pop a few in here. This revolver is super straightforward. It's real easy to open it up and see if they're all out or not. When you get to a semi-automatic, it's a little trickier because like we talked about earlier, and I know some of them weren't on yet, you could have no magazine in the firearm, see? However, there could still be one in the chamber, which means basically queued up and ready to go if you want to think of it that way. So if I just, right now it's clear. If all I do is pop the magazine in, it's still clear. There is nothing in the chamber yet. The mere act of putting the magazine in does not load the firearm. What you need to do to load it, and you can see right there, the top of the magazine, there's now one in the chamber. Remember there were 5, now there's only 4 because we have one in the chamber. So if all I did was set this down, it is not safe, it is not unloaded. So if you just picked up a firearm and saw, oh, there's not even a magazine in it, it's empty, it may not be. So that's really, really important. If you have not had an actual real hands-on firearms class, I would probably way prefer you go by the just don't touch it rules here. But if you need to, or if you've purchased a firearm, I want you to be practicing this stuff.
With snap caps, if you guys weren't here for that, snap caps are dummy ammo.
Order them on Amazon. Buy them at your local store. They're not that expensive. So the way to get it out is you need to rack the slide, which means bring it back, which pops that one out. So basically, now I still have 4 in the magazine, and here's the one that was in there. And it's not a bad habit to rack it more than once just to make sure. I've actually watched people, like with rifles, rack it 3 times, and a round popped out on the 3rd rack. So if you didn't get a full rack or something, it may still be in there. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense, and that surprises me.
People that just do it 3 times automatically, that's a good habit. I will never fault somebody for being extra cautious.
No. By the way, Lena Mubach, good to see you too. N.A. Darwall is the one who said paid to the gun. N.A. is a friend of ours from all the way across the world. Okay, so yeah, keep going.
Okay. Now, if I want, there's now 1 in the chamber and there's 4 in the magazine, correct?
Yes.
What some people, if I wanted to unload this right now and make it clear, the steps are drop the magazine.
Wait, rewind. Show them how to drop a mag because they might not know.
So basically, again, it's different on different firearms, but on most of them, it's this button that's right under where your thumb is. You push that, and the magazine releases. It's called a mag release button. Okay? So see right here where your thumb normally is? Can you see okay?
Yep.
Push there, and it comes out. Okay?
By the way, I want to point something out. Freeze real quick, Andy. Notice where her finger is, guys. Her finger is not on the trigger. It's up high on the slide. So she's being super safe. And then also, I feel like we need to give a disclaimer, you guys. Go take a class. This is just informational entertainment. We're not, I don't know, whatever. Just be safe, you guys. We want you to be safe is why we're doing this. Keep going.
The the challenge is you can't take a live class right now. In most places, it's already been shut down. So this is an emergency stopgap procedure. Knowing something is better than knowing nothing. And then as soon as stuff gets back to normal, please, please, please go sign up for a hands-on class. And don't sign up for the cheapest one you can find on Groupon, because you really do get what you pay for. And this is life or death stuff, guys. This is not the time to be price shopping. You need to find the best training you can find out there.
Yep.
So the proper way to unload and make this clear is to drop the magazine and then clear the slide. The reason is, if I don't, what happens is I clear it, but what just happened?
Hey, you just loaded another one for the magazine.
There's only 3 in the magazine now. So what some people do is they rack the slide first, which clears one out, then they drop the magazine and they think it's now empty. However, it's not, because the mere act of clearing one actually put another one in, because we still have the source that's feeding more into the chamber. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Marielle Troche, welcome to the stream. Good to have you on as well. All right. And then also Lynn Helen joined. John Dale Stanley joined. Scooter Burgess. Good to see all you guys. Welcome to the stream. Please like and share. Today's episode is how to stay safe with weapons. And then we're going to be doing a meditation to get rid of the chaos in about 10 minutes. So anyway, we got about 10 minutes. So can you show them top to bottom on that Glock again? Just go like step without stopping, like so they could rewatch it if they want to replay it.
Yep. So to unload this, what we're always going to do is drop the magazine first, and then we're going to clear it. This is a hard one for some people, especially anybody that's elderly, has arthritis, weaker hand strength. So I'm going to show you a little trick real quick to rack the slide. What some people do is the slingshot method, where they actually grab with 2 fingers and do it like that. The problem is most people don't have the hand strength for that. So what I want you to think, when you're trying to open a mayonnaise jar, do you hold it out here, or do you bring it in close so you get a little extra traction?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to think, this hand here, this hand on the slide, and I want you to bring it in close like a mayonnaise jar, but pay attention to where the muzzle is pointing. And you're actually going to push with this hand and push with this hand. So I'm not using my arm strength. I'm actually using my shoulder strength. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So you guys, just to recap it, drop the mag, rack it.
So
load one in the chamber, Andy, so they can see it pop out, please. Okay. So you find it.
1, drop the mag. 2, pop that out. You can even check and make sure. You can even lock it back. Can you see that?
Yep.
There's absolutely nothing in there.
Cool.
And just a little tip, if you are going to be carrying, pay attention to holsters. You want some kind of a holster that completely covers that trigger guard. Okay?
Cool. So Andy, I want to go on to the next guns you have, but before that, you were telling me yesterday that you're coming out with some other videos. How can people get in touch with you, and how can they see more about you?
Go follow the Strong Defenses Facebook page. We're actually going to I filmed a whole big one on the gun safety rules on Saturday. And today we're going to be filming a bunch more, everything from the different types of ammunition to actual full-on how to operate each of these firearms. We just gave you a quick little overview, but we're going to go through way more detail. We're going to talk about holstering. We're going to talk about carrying. We're going to talk about quite a few different topics. So Strong Defenses is my Facebook page, and that's where we'll be going live.
Let me share the screen on that one real quick. By the way, I like how you guys look. I like the new, I don't know how you and Tim look with the weapons. You guys look cool there. So there we go. So here's Strong Defenses. So you guys just go to, I put it in the thing, but facebook.com/Strong Defenses. And Andy's doing a whole bunch of stuff on there about gun safety, so you can watch more and more. And then also, one thing I really like is she makes it safe and accessible for everyone. Like no matter what size, sex, whatever you are, you can be safe as well. What is this picture over here? What are you doing here?
Who, me?
Oh, the side of my rib, just under my bra band, through a heavy T-shirt. Wow. When did this happen? 2-3 years ago?
Yeah,
Piece
that
of
was a couple
shrapnel?
years ago at a competition.
Wow. So you guys always, always, always wear eye protection. Okay, cool. All right, what's next?
So AR-15, a lot of people, and we're not going to have time to cover shotguns, but that's going to be its whole own video that we're going to be doing over on the Strong Defenses page. The biggest thing with AR-15s is a lot of people think they're big and scary. It basically, believe it or not, is just a larger version of this.
Yes.
Okay? So here's the magazine. Here's the magazine. Again, we're using the orange tip dummy rounds. Remember over here where we pop the magazine in? Over here, we pop the magazine in. Same exact thing. Remember over here where we had to rack the slide to get one in? Guess what we have to do over here? Rack the slide to get one in.
It just looks so much. I could see why people can get freaked out by those. I mean, there's no need to, guys. It's just another gun, but it looks so different compared to a handgun.
Well, and there's reasons for it. There's functions to it. It serves a purpose. The longer barrel, basically your barrel is this long, as opposed to the barrel on this one is only this long. That is for accuracy. You don't want somebody out hunting deer or hogs with something this small because it's not accurate enough. It's not going to have the power. It's just not going to do what needs to be done at long distance.
Yep. Real quick, Joe Sanchez says, yo, N.A. Darwell says, are you fine, Jase? Michelle Sullivan joined. And Donna Loader says, Andy is my hero. As well as Jose Reyna says, what's Jose is watching too. Welcome, Jose, to the stream. You are Donna's hero, Andy.
Donna, I got your email. I just haven't had a chance to respond because we were getting ready for this. But a rifle basically operates the same as a handgun. It's just a larger frame for it. So again, what we're going to want to do, it's a little heavier. Okay, we're going to want to drop the mag, which we now know the secret. There's only 4 in there because I told you the secret already. Here, instead of holding the top to rack the slide, we have this little, did you see that pop out? Now it's empty. If you want to clear it once or twice, you can. By the way, some firearms do also have a mechanical safety. So see right there?
It's kind of hard to see it with the coloring because it's also dark.
Yeah, white is no fire. Red is ready to fire.
Okay.
Okay. Red means ready. Just remember that. On any firearm that has some type of mechanical safety, red means ready. And you'll never get confused if you just remember red means ready.
Cool.
But that's it. I mean, it looks scary. It's, you know, people like to accessorize them. We like to say they're kind of like Tinker Toys for adults, or
it's the men's Barbie doll.
Men, well, women too.
That's the woman's one.
Who's talking? If Tim's gonna talk, tell him to just get on camera, Tim.
Come here, Tim.
Come here, Tim. Everybody, please welcome to the show Andy's husband, Tim.
This firearm was actually designed specifically for women. It's called the Pure Estrogen.
Really? That one is called the Pure Estrogen?
Pure Estrogen, designed for women. However, this is Tim's. This is one of the prototypes.
Hey, Tim. Hey, there's Tim. Hey, Tim. How you doing, man?
Good, how you doing?
Good,
Yeah, we helped Spikes come out with this design. We had tested with our women shooting group and dialed it down to where the recoil isn't as aggressive.
Andy, can you scoot to the left a little? Or are you at the edge of that table, just so we could see Andy, so we could see Tim a little bit more? So why is this called Pure Estrogen? Say that again. You made the recoil less.
It was designed specifically for the female shooter, and it has very, very, very light recoil. Recoil is what you feel hitting you back in your shoulder when you shoot a shotgun or a rifle. And this one has been adjusted specifically to keep that recoil very low.
Cool. Andy, do you have, besides that little Glock there, do you have like a Glock 17 or a bigger semi there?
Not right here with me.
I can get it.
I can grab it
If it's close. Because I want to give one other tip before we go, just for those of you who may be shopping. I just want to give you a tip on something that you might do and not do. Okay, great. So what a lot of women will do is when they're looking for a weapon, if you could hold up the 43, Andy, they'll think, oh, I'm small, so I need a small weapon.
Hey,
So they'll
Tim,
pick.
LCP.
So they'll get that Glock 43. Can you hold them side by side, Andy? Also, so they'll get that beige one, thinking, oh, it's smaller, it'll be easier to handle, and they'll think one the size of the pink one is harder to handle because it's bigger. But actually, the reverse is true. When you shoot, force, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when you shoot with a smaller gun and you shoot, there's less mass of the gun to help you handle the recoil, and it's smaller. So you're going to feel it more when you shoot. Whereas the bigger handgun, it has more mass, so it's going to help absorb that. And Andy, chip in with however you'd want to help explain this too. I just lost your video, Andy. Now you're back. So the bigger one is going to have more mass to help handle that recoil. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I think you want to do is get a bigger one.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you fine. So
Okay, I lost you for a second because my phone rang on my watch.
Oh, so the little one, you guys, is actually, I don't like shooting the little ones. They're actually not as comfortable to shoot. They hurt your hands more, and there's a lot more recoil. The benefit of the little ones is you could hide them better.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine. Do you hear us? Do you hear us? Hello? Andy, Tim, do you guys hear us? It sounds like we lost them. So the little one, you can hide more, but because it's so small, it's going to be harder to shoot, harder to be
Jase,
accurate.
wave your hand if you can still hear me. I lost your sound.
Yeah, you give you a thumbs up. Okay.
I can hear you.
So this is a Ruger LCP, and you'll notice it's even smaller. Very teeny tiny. A lot of women try to go for this one because it's so cute and tiny. It is one of the most miserable things to shoot unless you have really small hands. So you're only getting like 1 or 2 fingers on. Very hard to control.
Mm-hmm. And it hurts too. It just hurts to shoot those. Andy, Tim or Andy, can you guys hear me?
A good little picture.
Sounds like they can't hear me at all, you guys, for some reason. So anyway, the bigger one is going to be easier to shoot. Andy, can you hear me at all, or have you totally lost audio? They can't hear me at all. All right, guys. So I'm going to say thank you, Andy, for coming on. You guys, if you want to get more training with Andy, please join her over at facebook.com/Strong Defenses, and you'll be on with Andy. Andy, if you can see, we love you. Wave. Andy can't hear. They can't hear anything, can they? No. We love you, Andy. Bye. We're going to say goodbye to Andy. Goodbye, Andy. Goodbye, Andy.
Bye.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all. So if you guys go over to Strong Defenses on Facebook, we'll be doing a bunch more videos for you. And if you are specifically in the real estate industry, go over to Safer Agent on Facebook and make sure you're following us over there as well.
Cool. So she said go to Strong Defenses or Safer
So
Agent.
sorry
We'll
I
put
lost
that in
the
the description.
sound, but
Thanks for being
tuning
on.
in,
Love you.
guys. And if you have any questions, just message me.
Bye. All right, cool. So next guest I want to have on is, it's going to be like a hard transition here, nothing smooth or elegant. I just want to go to our next guest to do a meditation to help get you in the right mindset. So this is a woman who I've done a lot of work with, a woman who she has helped my back get better, helped me lose weight, energy-wise, keeps me going, and I have done a lot of work to help process out crap from the past. And she's an expert on clearing and getting people to relax and release. So everybody, please welcome to the stream, Liz Bull. Liz Bull, welcome, Liz. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Does it sound good?
Yeah,
We're good?
I hear you.
All right, great. Yep. Okay, so love that. I hope everybody got a lot out of Andy's presentation. And now for something a little different. So
Right? No kidding.
yeah, I love
So before we do that, though, what's that?
No, I was just thinking about your little lesson in physics because I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about here. You know, molecule next to molecule next to molecule. The world is made up of molecules. We are all connected, and that energy that's going on out there, we are all affected by it. It's a physics thing. It's a quantum mechanics thing.
Yeah. So I haven't really talked to you since all this stuff has gone down. How are you personally? How are you coping? What's happening in your world, Liz?
Well, you know, thank goodness that I'm as skilled as I am because it's a, you know, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, everybody out there is more than a little stressed with our current situation. You can't escape it. It's everywhere. There is so much uncertainty, and human beings don't like that. We do not like uncertainty. It really rattles our little cages, and there's just so much adjusting that we've all had to do. I mean, I talk to people, you know, their kids are home from school. Oh my God, I work from home. My kids are home. What do I do now? You know, because the kids want attention, and you know, it's very, very disruptive. And we can't even shop like we normally do. I remember a few years back, I was in a program. It was for speaking, actually, and there were these two Russian women there, and the topic was about choice, having choice, and they were from Russia, right? And they were talking about how in the U.S., you know, you go to the cheese counter and there's so many cheeses to choose from, and and she says, in Russia, we have two choices: cheese or no cheese. And I went to the grocery store the other day, and it was like, oh my God, I live in Russia. It's cheese or no cheese.
Right? No
There
kidding.
was no cheese, you know, there was no cheese, there was no eggs, there was no milk. You know, it was just
No
there was no
kidding.
meat. It's like if you wanted beef, forget it. You know, you weren't going to get any beef. So I was like, oh my God, we've become a third world country overnight.
Yeah, kind of in many ways.
Yeah,
So Liz,
you know, but I have toilet paper. I do have toilet paper.
we're getting low, but we have a bidet arriving in 2 days. So
Fantastic.
2 days to the bidet. So real quick, some comments and shout outs. So some comments on here. Sheila said, thanks, Jase. Laura Killebrew. Hey, Laura, it's good to see you. Said, hi, Jase. Those of you who are agents or want to provide stuff for agents, Andy also has a page over at facebook.com/saferagent. Joanne says, prepared, not scared is my new favorite line. Yeah, Joanne, good to see you. This is Joanne. We had her on last week. And Andy put that up, Safer Agent, as well. So we'll put all this in the show description. So, Liz, what I want to do is let people in Facebook world know that we're about to start a meditation. Bets, can you share this out to all my pages and groups real quick? So Betsy's going to share it out. So we'll chat for a minute, and then we'll do the meditation. Just put something like we're about to start a meditation to clear out the chaos. Thanks, hon. So, Betsy's, can I show you real fast or no? Here, everybody, if you want to say hi to Betsy, here's Betsy. Hey.
Hello.
So Betsy's over here managing the stream with me. So, and just for the record, I would have her on the show all the time, every day. But today she didn't want to be on the stream. So, and I got trouble because before I told her, oh, just sit next to me. And then I still put her on the stream. And so that's the laughter of, yes, you were in trouble. So anyway, so Liz, yeah, totally. It reminds me of that joke about when someone's going to get their plumbing fixed 6 years from now. Anyway, we'll talk about it. So it's good to see you on the show, but it's been definitely a weird time. I know for me personally, I've had days I'm really up and days I'm down. I think yesterday I started to get a little down. Last night, I started to tell this earlier in the show. Last night I thought I got it. Because I got home from running around. I was buying a weapon and doing some other last minute stuff. I had to pick up a prescription and some other things. And I felt like achy and tired. And I've had like a sore throat for 4 or 5 days and a little bit of phlegm. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have it. And I was starting to get so nervous. And I mean, hopefully it'll just pass. We do, but I get it, you guys. It doesn't feel great. Then I've had some clients postpone payments to me. And normally my close rate is super high. And I've had some people not buy, and so that's weird. I'm used to when I talk to people, like they buy, and so to not have people do that kind of threw me off. And so, things have been weird. So how are you dealing? What tips do you have? And then we'll do the meditation.
Well, what I notice is that I actually made a list of some of the stuff I've been hearing out of people's mouths about stuff that they're concerned about. And
Oh, let's hear about it.
Yeah. And I made a list of them, which I'm going to read. I'll read some of them. I'm not going to read all of them because there's a lot of them. And you can see, people who are on the call can see which ones are kind of on their mind. Because I find that identifying them is really crucially important in getting stress levels dealt with. And I'm sure you'd agree, it's easier to hit a target when you actually have one.
Yeah, right.
It's just kind of know what we're talking about here. So here's some of the stuff that I'm seeing. It's like, I'm afraid somebody I know or, somebody in my family is going to come down with this thing and die.
I could speak to that one, Liz. My mom, I called her up last week when there was plenty of time for her to fly out, and she didn't. And if she gets sick, how am I going to get there to help her? How am I going to help take care of her? I'm not going to. Maybe I'd fly there. Maybe I'd wrap up in a poncho like some of these people. But
yeah.
And if she,
right,
yeah.
Or for some people who are like your mom, like your mom's age. I know she's, in her 70s, right? I'm afraid I'm going to get it. Or people who have medical conditions, I'm afraid I'm going to get it, and I'm scared. I'm afraid I'm going to die. Some people are afraid of an economic collapse in this country. Afraid of going out of business. A lot of people are having a hard time focusing on their work because they're just, their brains are just like, right? And you literally cannot think straight when you're that stressed. You can't.
Yeah.
People who are worried about, I'm going to lose my income, right? Or, I'm afraid my kids. Well, now, the schools are closed at this point, and so I was like, I don't know what I don't know what to do with my kid. What's going to happen afterward? Is my kid, is the school year going to continue? Is my kid going to graduate on time? All that sort of thing. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to see anybody I love or know. I know you can relate to this one, Jase, is like quarantines are lonely. I'll be all by myself, and what am I going to do then? And it's going to be boring. People are afraid that we're going to go into the quarantine measures that China took, which were really quite drastic. Nobody came out. Maybe my company's going to go out of business. I'm afraid that I won't be able to get medications. I'm afraid supply chains will break down, and I won't be able to get stuff that I need. I've heard that it can cause permanent lung damage. What if I get it and I have permanent lung damage? Then what? Or maybe it's going to make it impossible for me to travel to any place I want. These are just some of them. Or how do I explain this to my kids without scaring the bejesus out of them? These are a lot of things that are on people's minds. So I don't know which of those, resonated with people on the call, but just note down. I'm going to do a kind of a general thing, but if you note what it is, I'm going to be teaching a technique that people can use on their own, moving forward, so they don't have to rely on me. Why are we doing this? Well, because here's the thing, as the coronavirus spreads, and it's continuing to spread, so does the uncertainty and the anxiety, and it's important to stay informed about ways that you can take preventative measures and protect yourself, washing the tops of your hands, not just the bottoms, not just the fingernails. The challenge is that we read the news, this stuff pops up on your computer whether you want it to or not. The stress increases. It just does. It's there, and there's this thing called a morphic field. Well, it's out there. It's in the ether, as it were. You go to the grocery store and you pick up the vibe from everybody else there who's like, can't be too close to you, 6 feet away, and all that sort of thing. And you're wondering, who sneezed on the cash register, that sort of stuff, right? You do, right?
Really, I do.
It is. And studies have shown that high levels of anxiety and stress weaken the immune system. So it's kind of like a perfect storm. The more cranked up we get, the more susceptible we are to illness of any kind. It doesn't have to be corona, it can be anything, which could explain what's going on with you. You know,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
So anyway, so we're going to be doing something called a tapping meditation. It's a little bit different than what I normally do with people, but we're going to do it. And the intention of this is to help you release the anxiety so you can support your immune system and feel more at peace and feel more empowered to take whatever steps necessary to protect yourself. Sound good?
Yes, awesome.
All right.
So what do people need to do to prep for this? Just
So what
get
they
ready?
need to do is get comfy in their chairs, relax, put their feet on the floor, uncross their arms and legs, and just, you know, settle in a bit, because they're going to be going through a series of motions tapping, and I'm going to show everybody how to do that now. But first step number one, just take a moment and notice where the anxiety is showing up in their body. Maybe it's in their stomach, maybe the chest, maybe it's the shoulders. Some people's jaws get really tight. And then I want you to just think on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense does that anxiety feel? 10 is the top, 0 is, nah, I'm good. Now, some people might be at 15. Just saying, that can happen, right? But just notice where it is and just make a note of it. Just jot it down somewhere. Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the steps go like this. We're going to start right here, tapping on this part of the hand. It's called the karate chop point. So we're just going to be tapping there initially to start. And then we're going to move to right here, right by the tip of the eyebrow. The next one is on the side of the eye. If you wear glasses, you might want to take them off. It makes it easier. Side of the eye. And then under the eye, then under the nose, under the mouth, collarbone. It's just where the little notch is. That's where you're going. And then there's a part underneath your arm. If you were a woman and you wore a bra, it would be about where the seam is. And you can feel it. It feels a bit sore. So that's the under the arm. And then top of the head. So it's just like right in the middle. Okay. So those are the points. All right. Easy peasy. You can't get this wrong. It really can't. But we're going to begin. I'd like everyone to just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. Out through your mouth. And once more, we're going to do this 3 times. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose and out through your mouth. So now tapping on the side of your hand, repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Either way is good.
Liz, can you do the motion in case they need to peek and see what you're doing?
Yeah, right side of the hand. Even though I'm feeling really anxious about the coronavirus, I acknowledge how I feel. And I give my body.
Wait, Liz, hold on. Are we supposed to repeat it along with you, or you're going to say it and then we repeat it? Because that's a lot to remember.
You can just, this one I know is a little bit long, so you can do it either way, whatever feels good to you. And if you do it twice, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So start that one again, will you?
Okay.
Do you want us to say it out loud or not? Because people are going to have a hard time.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They can do it in their brain or they can do it out loud, whatever feels best.
Okay.
Even though I'm feeling anxious about the coronavirus, I acknowledge how I feel, and I give my body permission to relax. Even though I feel this anxiety in my body, I accept how I feel. And I allow my body to relax more and more with every tap. Okay, now tapping on that eyebrow point, we are going to give a voice to the anxiety and the fear that we feel, to release the intensity with tapping. Repeating after me. Here we go. All this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
Side of the eye. The news is overwhelming.
The news is overwhelming.
Under the eye. All this uncertainty.
All this uncertainty.
Under the nose. All this fear.
All this fear.
Under the mouth. It's really impacting me.
It's really impacting me.
Collarbone. My body feels like it's on high alert.
My body feels like it's on high alert.
Under the arm. I become aware of how my body feels.
I become aware of how my body feels.
Top of the head. I acknowledge how stressful this has been.
I acknowledge how stressful this has been.
Eyebrow. Part of me wants to release this stress.
Part of me wants to release this stress.
Side of the eye. But another part of me feels like I need it.
But another part of me feels like I need it.
Under the eye. Because what is happening is scary.
Because what is happening is scary.
Under the nose. But maybe I can take precautions.
But maybe I can take precautions.
Under the mouth. And release this stress.
And release this stress.
Collarbone. I acknowledge that some things are out of my control.
I acknowledge that some things are out of my control.
Under the arm. So I focus on what I can control.
So I focus on what I can control.
Top of the head. And I let go of the rest.
And I let go of the rest.
Eyebrow. I give my body permission to relax.
I give my body permission to relax.
Side of the eye. I give my mind permission to take a break.
Can you say that one again?
I give my mind permission to take a break.
I give my mind permission to take a break.
Under the eye. Feeling present in this moment.
Feeling present in this moment.
Under the nose. Right now and right here.
Right now and right here.
Under the mouth. I am okay.
I am okay.
Collarbone. I am safe.
I am safe.
Under the arm. I am resilient.
I am resilient.
Top of the head. I have been through so much.
I have been through so much.
Eyebrow. And I will make it through this.
And I will make it through this.
Side of the eye. I focus on what I can control.
I focus on what I can control.
Under the eye. And I let go of the rest.
And I let go of the rest.
Under the nose. I channel any remaining anxiety.
I channel any remaining anxiety.
Under the mouth. Into better self-care.
Into better self-care.
Collarbone. as I relax my body.
As I relax my body.
Under the arm. I am supporting my immune system.
I'm supporting my immune system.
Top of the head. I am safe.
I am safe.
Eyebrow. I acknowledge any remaining anxiety.
I acknowledge any remaining anxiety.
And I let go with every tap.
And I let go with every tap.
Under the eye. The more and more that I relax.
The more and more that I relax.
Under the nose. It's easier, the easier it is to gain a better perspective.
It's easier, the easier it is to gain a better perspective.
Under the mouth. Feeling grounded and safe.
Feeling grounded and safe.
Collarbone. Feeling calm and centered.
Feeling calm and centered.
Under the arm. I am smart and resilient.
I am smart and resilient.
Top of the head. Feeling safe and relaxed now.
Feeling safe and relaxed now.
So you can stop tapping as you take a nice deep breath in through your nose and release it through your mouth. And notice how you feel in your body now. And just check in on the intensity of that anxiety on the 0 to 10 scale. In these few minutes, really, you've begun to calm down your nervous system to support your immune system. And any little shift towards 0 is a shift in the right direction. And the more you do this process, the more powerful it will be. And if the intensity is higher than you want or would like, then just continue doing this tapping meditation until you get closer to 0.
I feel a lot better. I feel like it's like a 0 or 1 right now.
Yeah.
I can feel my body relax about halfway through that. Ooh,
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very powerful thing that you can do. And what I love about it, I mean, obviously, you know, from our work, Jase, that in my one-on-one work with people, even in groups, you know, we can get a lot done with other processes that I do. But this is one I teach my clients they can do for themselves. And you can do this. People can re-listen. I guess this is recorded, right? So they can re-listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they can re-listen to it and just do it every day, because, you know, there's a new load of anxiety stuff that gets thrown at us every single day, you know, every minute by minute, hour by hour, we're getting bombarded with more crapiola about this. So your system needs it. It really does. So I just completely recommend that people re-listen to this, take themselves through the steps again. And if any of those ones that I read resonated, you know, throw that in the mix. You know, you can say, you know, even though I'm afraid I'm going to get this thing and die, you know, I acknowledge that I'm really whacked out about that. You know, I acknowledge how I'm feeling about it. I acknowledge that I'm feeling scared. And you know, you have to validate. You really have to validate that. That's like creating the target. So then you can say, right.
And the truth is, the more we focus on what we can control and self-care, the better off we're going to be.
Absolutely.
Like Jeff said last week, we had him on the show.
It's incredibly important time for self-care. Incredibly important time for self-care. Yes.
And like Jeff said last week, plan, perform, and prosper, or prepare, perform, and prosper, which I really like.
Yeah.
So Liz, I put up your URL where they could reach you. Are you still doing free sessions with people?
Right now, actually, what I'm doing right now is I'm doing what I'm calling a calm the chaos session. So people can do that, and then we can speak further to see if there's anything else that they might like to do in the future with me.
Cool. Awesome. So awesome. So if you guys want to find Liz, she's there, or you could just search for her on Facebook. Liz, I feel so much more centered. Thank you. I'm actually going to be doing a private session with Liz in 30 minutes. So I'm going to grab. So you guys, thanks for joining Speakeasy. A couple things real quick on that we have coming up. Liz, this isn't really about you, but I'm going to promo this here. We're having home happy hour every Friday at 7 Mountain Time. So if you're someone who likes to have a beer, we've teamed up with Boise Beer Buddies. And I don't know if I told you this, Liz, but I teamed up with Boise Beer Buddies, like a beer membership. And so what everyone's doing is ordering beers, curbside pickup or delivery from their favorite local brewery. And then we're doing a happy hour. We've got music, live music, conversation, just having fun, checking in every Friday night, giving people something to do, a place to come together. Yeah, we had a really amazing time last weekend. Actually, I had a guy come on the stream who was a client of mine back in 2004. And now he just got back from like Nepal. And he was telling us stories about that. And it's so cool. And he's a speaker now. And so it was really... It's going to be an interesting and magical time. So all of you guys, I'm going to be releasing more stuff. Oh, I need to put up the link to get in touch with me. So Liz, anything else you want to share on the stream before we let you go?
Take care of yourselves, people. You're the only ones who can, really. And I was like, the cavalry is not coming to your house.
Right?
Really.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? It's such an interesting time right now.
Well, it reminds me of what was it? I don't want to sound racist or something, but wasn't there something supposedly an Arab curse, like may you live in interesting times? Well, they're here.
You said that, and I keep thinking that was a blessing. May you live in interesting times. I mean, it stinks while we're in this, guys, but on the other side of this, it's going to be.
Well, I mean, it's like this too shall pass. Truly, this. My goodness, I mean, when I was a kid, big epidemic was polio. Everybody was getting polio. So hey, we lived through that. We survived. We've lived through I don't know how many different flus. This one's particularly fast moving, but there you are. And then I think to myself, what somebody, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing for my birthday. Actually, I was raising money to feed hungry kids, and the statistics for that are appalling. There are over 8,000 kids every day who die of hunger. So, the deaths from the flu, drop in the bucket compared to that. So,
right now, but maybe not ongoingly.
It's sobering. It's a sobering.
Yeah.
And there were millions in the 1918 flu. There were millions of people who died. Millions. So we're not there yet, and I don't think we'll get there. You heard it here first. I don't think we're going to get into millions and millions. I think it's if people do the self-care, if they isolate and keep the buggies from spreading, this will go away pretty quickly. But people do have to, kind of smarten up.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Don't be stupid about this. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
People think, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Just this one time, whatever. Yeah, right. No. The isolation, the statistics and the predictions, the difference between just doing the social distancing versus isolating, big difference in terms of halting the spread of this. Big difference. Yeah. So it pays off to do it. And if everybody does it, then, the Chinese method of lockdown will not be necessary. But people have to play ball.
I think people are going to need to have I don't know. I think the government's going to have to step in and shut people down before they shut down voluntarily. But whatever. Let's stay in the good place. So Liz, thanks for being on. I know. I hope not too. Thanks for being on. I feel much more centered. I'll be talking to you about a half hour.
Well, maybe we can. This might be something we can do every week if you want. If you're up for it, it's up to you.
If nothing else, if not during this live, we can find another time to do a live, like a once. You guys let us know. Put in the comments. Would you like to have more meditations with Liz? Would you like to
we can
see more from Liz? Here, so real things. Joanne says, great tapping guided meditation. Thanks, Liz. You might want to get in touch with Joanne. She's got a new page. Auntie Jojo helps. She's a fellow black belt. Betsy says, calm the chaos. I love it. Joanne says, my full soul feels peace and calm. Thank you for providing the service. And Liz for sharing your gifts. You're welcome. Sheila says, I remembered handling another person's gun at their behest. I was never interested in handling one and have held on stress for years. This has helped. Awesome, Sheila. Betsy says, agreed. Thank you. Good. Liz, thanks for being on. We'll catch you later. All right, guys. So last thing I want to put out there is for you guys who are coaches, speakers, authors, trainers, you may be thinking, what's going on? What's happening? What can you get done? So a couple things I'm going to put into the comments. And Betsy, if you could post it in there too, so it has a hyperlink to it, a link where you can get in touch with me. If you would like to get in touch with me and set up a time for us to talk, now is the time for us to look at where you're at with your messaging, to work on your sales on webinars. And this is going to lift eventually. So it's a really good time to start working on your live speaking planning for like a year from now or 6 months from now. But in the meantime, now's a really great time for, if you're going to be doing sales, you're going to be moving to doing sales online. And we have a lot of expertise with how to run webinars and sell successfully, and also how to sell through Zoom appointments. So if you want to see how you can get help with your messaging, your mindset, your sales process, book a schedule with me. I want to be clear. This is for people who are looking for someone to help them get better, who are willing to invest in themselves. It is it's not a sales call and that you won't get volume out of it, and it is an opportunity to see how we can work together. So I have limited time available, or limited days where I'm making these calls super available. So I want to save the time for people who are really looking to do something and make progress. So do me a favor, please. Hold on a second. Did you need me for something, honey? Did you want me to share the screen? Comments? So please make an appointment. And I'm looking for people who are really interested in doing something together, because you want to notch up. And also, you may have fewer sales opportunities, so you want to make sure you take advantage of the ones that you do have. So let's go to some more comments. Auntie Joanne says, Jase, do would you coach me? Auntie Jojo's Pinterest with all kinds of helpful boards. Good. Quarantine things to do, things to say, not to say. Joanne, put the link to it in the comments. Actually, hyperlink to it. I can't tell if it's hyperlinked from this platform. But anyway, you guys go to go.worldclassspeakeracademy.com/schedule, and you're going to be able to see a whole lot more about what we're doing. Set an appointment with me, and we'll be able to do one-on-one. So this has been great, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Go take care of yourself. Take care of others. We're going to get through this time. Remember, no matter what, God loves you and God has got you. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.